Whatever was said at the wine and dine session in Montreal must have worked for Jonathan Huberdeau and the Calgary Flames. Hi there, it's Brad Hornby here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel as I'm still trying to continue playing catch up with news stories. Well, when I made the video giving my feelings and take on the Matthew Tkachuk trade and what we got in return, and the big question we asked about, will the assets that we got in return be willing to sign long term with the Calgary Flames? Well, interesting, after I took that video of the camera, render it, edit it, and about to upload it, got a notification that Jonathan Huberdeau did indeed actually stick to his word and was willing to sign long term with the Calgary Flames. And you could say it is the richest contract in Calgary Flames history that Jonathan Huberdeau did indeed agree to sign an 8-year contract extension worth $84 million. Yes, $84 million. Keep in mind, this is US dollars as well, as all the US salaries are paid out, so I think he's going to be pretty good. Especially if he's smart with his money and don't have to worry about inflation and cost of living hurting his bottom line. But keep in mind that contract does not kick in until after this season, because he still has 1 year left on his deal worth $5.9 million, where he's finishing off that 6-year deal that he signed with the Florida Panthers back in 2016 to finish off his entry-level deal. I'm going to say, given the amount of money that the Calgary Flames were willing to dish out or cut out or electronically deposit, however they send paychecks to players these days, that was the amount of money that we're willing to give to Matthew Tkachuk or Johnny Gaudreau. So you could say it's definitely within market how much money Jonathan Huberdeau will get. And if you look at his production the last few years, he's definitely been a point a player pace. And actually last season he had just as many points as Johnny Gaudreau. I guess the Flames were willing to spend that much money on a player named Johnny with EAO as an Eau Claire market at the end of his name, last name. Just it wasn't originally planned, but this is how the deal breaks down for the Calgary Flames. And Jonathan Huberdeau is, as I mentioned, his cap hit will be $10.5 million starting in 23-24 up until 2030-31. So some worry that, considering that Jonathan Huberdeau he is 29 right now. And by the way, he is born June 4th, 1993, which means he's a Gemini, and Gemini's rule that he'll be 37 when this contract expires. 37, 38, still making $10.5 million. However, it's unknown where the salary cap is going to be at the time. I mean, the 6-year contract that he signed with the Florida Panthers that started in the 2017-18 season, that ends this season, which was a 6-year deal worth $35.4 million. Some were thinking at that time that was a bargain, given where the cap is, and it's $82.5 million, and speculating that's going to rise up until the mid-90s. But one thing I think you can say be a little ease with this contract is that Jonathan Huberdeau is more of a playmaker. And usually playmaking forwards don't have as much wear and tear and aren't as hurt as much for the kind of game they play, that he could still probably potentially play at a high level. But immediately he has a no movement clause on this deal. And then 29-30 and 30-31, the last 2 years of the deal, he has a modified no trade clause, which means you can submit 12 teams that is willing to be traded to. So it'll be interesting to know who was on that list at that time. But most of this contract is actually in bonuses, because the first 3 years of this contract that starts next season, he gets paid $7 million in bonuses And then the next 2 seasons, which would be the 26-27, 27-28, he actually gets $9.5 million in a bonus. So it definitely is a happy Canada Day, assuming that's when bonuses get paid out. And then 28-29, he has $7 million bonus. And then in 29-30, it goes back up to $9.5 million bonus. And then the final year of his contract in 30-31, it's only a $5 million bonus. So that's where he gets the $10.5 million. So it's definitely buyout proof and lockout protected if we have to ever worry about that, given the, if there is any labor unrest. But I'm going to say, given the contract, yes, it is very rich and very expensive, but considering how much we were willing to pay Johnny Gaudreau or Matthew Tkachuk, and given finding a replacement, and I'm going to say essentially Jonathan Huberdeau is going to be a replacement for Johnny Gaudreau. Huberdeau replacing Gaudreau in terms of playmaking top line center or winger for, let's say, a center like Elias Lindholm. It's definitely a comparable replacement. We are still going to miss the game that Matthew Tkachuk provides, but I definitely am encouraged by the deal, because there was speculation that after this season he was going to test the market and say he was going to go back to Montreal, where he's from St. Jerome, Quebec. But I'm going to say whatever that wine and dine session said must have worked to convince Johnny Huberdeau that it's time to brace the change, and we have a role for you here in Calgary. So I'm going to say this trade and now this signing ultimately saves the summer for the Calgary Flames and Brad Treliving's bacon, in a way. But if you look at the last 4 seasons, last season, he was tied with Johnny Gaudreau with 115 points in 80 games. Season before, he played 55 games, given it was only a 56-game season in the COVID season. He scored 61 points. And then in 2019-20, which the season was cut short due to COVID, in 69 games he had 78 points. And then in 18-19, in 82 games he had 92 points. So the last 4 seasons, he's had over a point a game, and in total of his NHL career, 671 games, all with the Florida Panthers. He has 198 goals, 415 assists for 613 points, plus 41 overall, 341 penalty minutes. Then in the playoffs, in 26 playoff games, he has 5 goals, 16 assists for 21 points. So I think we might gain more in that in playoffs, where this past playoffs with the Florida Panthers, Jonathan Huberdeau in 10 games had a goal and 4 assists for 5 points. But I'm going to say this is definitely encouraging that he was able to sign. Maybe sometimes players that do say they want to sign long term might actually do it. But I also saw a figure that the last 4 seasons, when Jonathan Huberdeau plus did those point per game, just above point per game average all season, I think it was the 3rd or 4th most productive player in the National Hockey League during that same time. 2 of those players are just up the road here from Calgary, in Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. So I'm going to say we have a gem on our hands. Was definitely needed that blockbuster trade if we were going to trade Matthew Tkachuk. But I'm going to say, what do you think of Jonathan Huberdeau and the contract that he signed with the Calgary Flames? And he is going to wear number 10 for the Calgary Flames. Might be the best Flame to wear that since Gary Roberts, and who knows, could he be a future captain of the Calgary Flames now that he's committed for at least 9 years this year, at least contract-wise. But given the amount of money and bonuses and how we have it structured, we are going to hopefully commit to keep him here and be part of the new core that's evolving with the Calgary Flames, which definitely has changed. That's an understatement to say this offseason. So anyway, so to close out this, if you want to follow along this Calgary sports fans journey, along with Flames, Hitman, Roughnecks, and Pierce, as well as the Calgary SC, just make sure you hit like, subscribe, as I mostly do talk Calgary sports on my YouTube channel, where we recap games and stories. But I also do have a variety of non-sports content on my channel, like personal vlogs, attempt to call me. I do share my experience on the road to a smart event, and I do have some blogging to go. So if that all sounds like you'd be interested to watch, to follow along with this Calgary sports fans journey, you know what you do, just make sure you hit like and subscribe. I also have my other social media down in the description below for other ways to follow me. And still in the dog days of summer, in this heat wave, it's been pretty warm in Calgary the last few weeks, but I guess you can say this is also hot news about the Johnny Good, Joe, and Matthew Tkachuk leaving the Calgary Flames, while Jonathan Huberdeau coming to the Calgary Flames. And also things sound encouraging about Mackenzie Weegar and getting him signed to a long-term extension as well. I'm going to say it's hard to say if the Calgary Flames are better or worse or the same, but I'm going to say up front, if we have anybody that steps up, I think we're going to be just the same. But our defense, I think, is definitely going to be better with Mackenzie Weegar. And our goaltending, I'm going to still say, is a strong part with the Calgary Flames. So I don't think we're going to slip too much, at least right now on paper, but we need to see it in action. So I'd definitely say, welcome to the Sea of Red, Jonathan Huberdeau, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.